Hello people of YouTube, I'm John, and today we have a model from Atlas that we're going to take a look at. So let's head over to the workbench and get started. Alright, so here's what we're looking at today. This is an HO scale 5250 covered hopper from Atlas. I looked on Atlas's website and found this model comes in 6 different paint schemes. The price on these is $72.95. And something else that's a little different I haven't seen yet is that these come from the Atlas Master Plus line. Now, usually what I've been accustomed to is that Atlas Master is their highest end. Now apparently Master Plus is going to be their highest end. I think it would be best if you go to Atlas's website and find out if they have the one you're looking for. Okay, so as usual, I've scrutinized the paint and markings, and I have to say that this model is very impressive. And I'm not just talking about the paint and markings. As I was scrutinizing it, I noticed a lot of detail, and I'm starting to understand what Master Plus is. Now, I do want to mention that you can see some of the detail that I'm talking about. If you look down at the discharge gates down here, you can see that they're extra highly detailed. You can see from this angle. So this is one of those things where when it's rolling down the track, you can see that stuff. So it's good that it's there. Something else worth mentioning about the discharge gate detail is that depending on the prototype, they actually have road-specific hatch and outlet configurations as well as roof walk variations. And of the 6 paint schemes that they're offering, there are 3 different body style variations. So they're working hard to maintain prototype-specific detail, which is commendable. Alright, so looking at the brake end, you can see that the ladders on this model are actually separately applied wire grabs, and all of this little grab detail is fine scale wires that are freestanding parts. Also, looking at the brake wheel, this looks better than most brake wheels in HO scale, and it has an uncoupling lever as well as a photo etched crossover platform. So there's a lot of detail going on here. It may be hard to see from this angle, and I'll show you at a different angle, but there's also an air hose. So what we're looking at here is really a complete model. There's nothing here that you would need to add to. The only thing I could see a serious modeler wanting to do with this is maybe weathering it. We don't usually look at the models from this angle, but I wanted to do this because you can see the air hose I talked about here. And if you look in there, it's hard to point to, but there's all kinds of brake detail in here. You see that behind the brake wheel? A little thin piping. The piping goes into what I think is a triple valve down here. There's a bar that goes across. I mean, there's a lot going on there. And this is stuff that I've seen people modify sort of less detailed hoppers with, but it's there, straight out of the box. It looks great. And I figured since we're going around the car anyway, I'd give you this view of the brake end as well. And since we're looking at it, I can point out that these are 100-ton trucks with blackened metal wheels. Thought I'd give you a peek of the other side. It's kind of hard to tell from this far back, but all the writing is legible. You can even see that the build date is August of 1973. So I was mentioning about fine details. This is all metal walkways. And I've got to say the hatch detail on this model is especially good. I mean, if you get a nice weathering job on this, it'll look very realistic. Something else while we're looking at the top, did you notice the unusual spacing on the hatches? That's one of those prototype specific details that they're talking about, and that's also a really nice touch. We looked at a cylindrical hopper recently, and it also had what this one has, which is separately applied brake detail that runs down only one side. You look down here, it doesn't run on this side. That's a prototype specific detail that they didn't miss. And boy, does it look good. Something else I want to mention while we're looking at the bottom is that these are actually metal couplers. This is not your typical plastic Accumate coupler. So that's also an upgrade. I have to admit, when I first took this model out, I was thinking $72.99 seems a little steep, right? But after looking at it and examining it with my magnifying visor and checking out all the details and finding out not only the level of detail that it has, including prototype specific details, but I guess the fineness of those details and the amount of details, including the uncoupling levers, air hoses, metal couplers, metal wheels, body-mounted couplers as well. All these things add up to something that's really good. And remember that $72.99 or $95, whatever it was, is the list price. If you go into a hobby shop or if you order this from an online retailer, you'll get it for less. So I have to say it's a really good model, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of this Atlas Master Plus line. I'll see you next time.